All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining the 98 Arm Wrestling Podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We are interviewing Adam Silver, the man behind the curtain with a lot of different events of arm wrestling. He is quite the wizard, if you may, with content and just getting arm wrestling into a little bit more of the limelight that we all want everyone to see. Thank you for joining us, Adam.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you.
Especially on no sleep. That's great.
Yeah.
Probably
Cursing.
cursing.
Sleep, I can't even imagine, man.
He's like, man, I got to deal with these bastards and I'm on no sleep.
Yeah, it's okay.
Should have eaten your Wheaties, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So, Adam, tell us a little bit more about you as an arm wrestler and how long ago did you start finding the arm wrestling sport?
Okay, so I got into arm wrestling when I was, I guess, in high school. So I just did a little bit, at the lunch table. And I was surprisingly good. I didn't actually work out very much at that point. I didn't really start working out until I was about 18 years old. But got into weight training 18, and I found that I was a very good bench presser. So by the time I was 20, I was bench pressing 4 plates at about 162, 163 pounds body weight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, when I was in college, so I was just a little bit, I guess it was 1991 when I really got into arm wrestling. And I actually started up a club at the University of Maryland. So they had the University of Maryland Arm Wrestling Club, which was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I started to practice with originally a guy named Les Wins up in Maryland. He was a small little guy. He's like 130 something pounds, but was amazing. And then went to Dave Patton in Virginia, who was a world champion, multi-time world champion. And so I would practice down in Virginia. Sometimes Travis Bagent would come over from West Virginia. And that's kind of when I got into it. I did most of my arm wrestling between 1991 and 1997. And I did, several competitions. I ended up winning the Empire States in 1997, my weight class, which I think it was around 180 something at that point. And I won the overall as well.
That's great. That's cool.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, okay, now I gotta ask, how did you transition from going arm wrestling to arm wrestling content creator extraordinaire? How did that
right. I actually started doing some like videography stuff back in high school.
Okay.
I did mostly photography. And of course, videography back then was you had basically VHS tapes, big tapes, cassette tapes, and you had like a big camcorder.
Yeah.
So I messed around with that quite a bit, but I went to the University of Maryland film program. It was actually unfortunately cut because of budget cuts back in that time frame in the early 1990s. Yeah. So, but I kept up with it and had some fun. And well after college, I started a production company called StrengthNet. That was in 2000, and I started to basically shoot content with bodybuilders. So I, obviously trained at the gym. I knew a lot of bodybuilders, and I created a production company around the whole bodybuilding community. And so I used to work backstage at local NPC shows in New York.
Okay.
And then eventually I started going to like the national level shows for NPC Nationals, that kind of thing. And also did some of the IFBB Pro League shows as well. They weren't IFBB Pro League back then, but it was just IFBB. Yeah. So I started creating tons and tons of content. And the funny thing is that, so I had this YouTube channel called StrengthNet, and I had my website, strengthnet.com, with all these bodybuilders on it. And just for fun, back in like I can't remember what year, maybe 2010, something like that, maybe 2011. I took these two national level bodybuilders, and at the end of the workout, we were just shooting their workout. We had them do an arm wrestle, and it was supposed to be like fake.
Yeah.
So this guy, Anthony Shapani from New York, had these huge black guy, huge arms, and he was supposed to lose his first match and then win his second match. And he decided, just as he was losing, that he didn't want to lose. He brings the other guy all the way back and beats him. And that one video, just because his like muscles were just insane, I think that video did like 23 or 24 million views. So it went viral back then, and that just made my channel. And then I started to produce all this other arm wrestling content too. And I was like, I'm getting millions of views for all of these videos, and like nobody had arm wrestling videos back then like these.
Right.
So it was just insane.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a great way to build a cornerstone of like, you know, the brand you have now. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So even though I've done a lot of different things, I was a talent manager. I owned a talent agency from 2001 until 2000 until 2016, end of 2016. So 16 years in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was silver model management. I worked with models, mostly male and female. I worked with Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, Reebok, those types of places. Outside of TV and film division. And I actually ended up working on amazing TV and film projects. One was the latest Spider-Man series from Marvel. One of the kids me and my team booked was Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned.
That's
in
awesome.
all three films and all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? That's awesome.
That's
pretty cool.
Jacob Batalon, very good guy. Yeah. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's some good unknown stuff that, you know, it'll be interesting to put out.
Totally. Shed some light on that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
When did, like, you and Larry become married together in what you guys do? Like, how'd that come about?
I think we started working together, I think it was like 2015, where I shot a video of him for StrengthNet for my website and YouTube channel. And the thing was, it was a mutual friend of ours, and I honestly, I don't recall the guy's name, but this guy, it was just a casual friend. He's just like, there's this kid, this 19-year-old kid, you got to see him. He looks like a bodybuilder, and he like benches 500 pounds. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. You got to meet him. So we met up and shot the video. And of course, Larry was like repping 500 pounds, not like doing it for one time, you know, of course. He was this insane kid. Yeah. So we became friends, and we didn't do a lot of stuff very often back then.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I think a year later, maybe it was a year and a half later or something, he contacted me and asked me to like do some stuff. I think it was a year later. Yeah. Asked me to like shoot some stuff occasionally for his YouTube channel. So I started to do that and helped him also get some sponsorships, a supplement company, that kind of thing. And we became friends. I ended up selling my agency at the end of 2016 and was just shooting commercials, commercials for supplement companies, mostly like Mutant and companies like that. So we started to work together full time around 4 years ago. And he's like, hey, if you want to travel the world and, do stuff together, that would be amazing. So a lot of people think that I'm just like his content creator, but I'm actually his manager.
Yeah.
So I negotiate all of his deals that happen. I help start up some of his stuff with PR supplement company that we were doing. And yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
pretty epic that, you know, how intertwined your two worlds have become so much ingrained in each other between arm wrestling and filmography. It's uncanny how that grew together synonymously at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely good for the sport because you're using a huge platform with the bodybuilding and strength sport, and like that helps arm wrestling because there's tons of strong guys out there that now are like, oh, I'll try that,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is cool.
And the thing is that Larry is a very versatile athlete,
Mhm.
so he can do many different sports.
Yeah.
And he was naturally good at arm wrestling. So
Yeah.
when he would go up and have the occasional arm wrestle with somebody that was really strong or pretty good at arm wrestling, he'd usually win. And then when we started doing some arm wrestling, in Dubai, we got like the Indian national champion Suhail Khan, heavyweight champion. He started training with Larry, and then Larry's like, then we were like, hey, let's bring in like Devin Larratt and
Yeah.
like some of these top guys, and I'll start learning from them, and we'll create great content. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, and then it kind of exploded from there.
How did Dubai become the destination?
Oh yeah. So back in 2018, late 2018, we traveled Europe for like 10 or 11 days, and we loved the traveling. We got back to the US, and then we got a call from Thor Bjornsson. And Thor and Larry had met before in Las Vegas, of all places, and they trained together one time. And Thor became friends with Larry, and he invited me and Larry out to well, basically, we lived in Iceland for 2 months in his grandparents' amazing apartment, and it was incredible. And so for 2 months, he trained with Thor. And then Thor referred Larry to a guy named Don Idris in Dubai to go ahead and work with a coach for World's Ultimate Strongman, who actually Larry's strongman coach is right now, Mark Boyd. And we decided, let's stay here because now we can really travel the world. It's much easier than trying to do it from LA, which is where we had moved to at the time.
Yeah.
So it just made a lot of sense from a strategy standpoint of actually traveling to different, countries.
Yeah.
But we eventually got stuck here because COVID locked us down when we were supposed to actually move back to the US. And then once we were stuck here, basically they had a lockdown. After the lockdown was over, the rest of the world started to lock down. So it just made sense just to stay here.
Yeah.
Plus all the, athletes and influencers all came to Dubai because Dubai was like one of the only open places around the world. So
it kind of happened organically, sort of.
It did.
Yeah,
it really did.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fate works in mysterious ways.
It does, yeah, for sure.
Now, being part of the arm wrestling world and strength sport, like, have you been able to take like the recovery process for both sports and kind of intertwine them, like the best from each, and kind of like give advice to Larry or others and in both worlds and kind of use your knowledge of both sides?
Yeah, well, the other thing is that back in college, my degree is in kinesiology. So I studied biomechanics, and so I was already on my way to being an athletic trainer at that point. So I worked with football, wrestling, lacrosse, baseball, soccer, all the main sports that University of Maryland had for men and women. So I knew a lot about rehab at that point.
Yeah.
And kind of just took that and kept learning it and stuff like that. So most of the stuff still applies, but we also did get to experience lots of new stuff. Like when we went out to work with Thor, Larry got to experience hot and cold.
Oh, I saw that.
In a major way. Yeah. Because
those
Thor has these
fun.
two huge, these huge tanks outside of his, outside of his house. And in the middle of winter in Iceland, he was going into the hot tub, which was burning hot, and then went over to the cold tub, which was super cold. It was just,
dude, those videos were awesome to just see them hanging out, like eating food and like just having a good time.
Sure.
You're like, man, they're just regular guys just having fun. They just happen to be strong as hell.
Yeah.
And the thing is too.
Yes. Yeah. So we learned like a lot of stuff, in terms of the healing process from doing those types of things. And of course, I knew a lot about the whole arm wrestling healing process and, how to deal with that. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, does Larry, like with the arm wrestling, does he get discouraged when someone comes along and beats him, or is he like,
You know,
I don't know how
that's what's interesting.
serious he takes the arm wrestling just yet because he's
So
still
he takes it
involved.
seriously, and of course, he has an ego like everybody else, but
Yeah.
he definitely takes it a lot differently than most people. See, the thing is with Larry is that he started at the top when he brought Devin Larratt out here, and then we
Yeah.
started to bring all these other like top level athletes, and so instead of you seeing like Larry at a regular practice, like beating everybody,
Right.
we would
Right.
have these other people to come in and beat him.
Beat him.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like a random guy would come along and just beat Larry.
Right.
That
No.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it does happen, say at a practice, it's because it's at the end of the practice when he's tired.
Right.
But
Right. I feel
the thing
bad for
is
like the New York one. I felt bad for him because I'm like, all these dudes are beating up on him, and that's what gets posted. Like
right. And the thing is that the arm wrestling community, a lot of people will understand what's happening,
right.
but the rest of the
Right.
community that's into strength sports may
Yeah.
not know arm wrestling very much. And they'll be like, hey, how are all you guys beating Larry? He's super strong.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been training for a while. And these are very, very good arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
They may not be Devin Larratt and stuff like that, but
They know enough. Yeah.
super, yeah, they know enough. They know enough
Yeah,
what's going
and
on.
he's just pulled 20 other people right before the.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
When are you guys coming back down to the States next?
I think we may come around Thanksgiving. I mean, I have to talk to Larry about that. I think I will at least be coming back because I need to like see my family, my brothers, and all that.
Right.
But if not then definitely probably sometime early next year. So
Cool.
yeah.
So with the events that you guys have been running and continue to run, the King of the Table specifically, where did that come from? Like the concept of creating that, and where do you plan on taking it?
So Larry and I came up with that probably a little after Devin Larratt's first trip. Because Devin actually, would do King of the Table with everybody. Basically,
The end of practice. Yeah.
be at the table, let everybody go against him, and that's how you do King of the Table. And I told Larry that I definitely wanted to start up some arm wrestling tournaments and maybe do super matches and stuff like that. And he was like, actually, that's a great idea. Let's do it, and we'll call it King of the Table.
That's
So
cool.
that's how that started. And then, of
Awesome.
course, Michael Todd came along and wanted to pull Levon. And so we were thinking about doing it then. And then Levon wasn't available at that point. So we did it with Devin,
Yeah.
the first one.
Now Michael, I think, really wants to follow.
Yep.
Mhm.
He's made a few
Yeah.
comments
And
lately.
sure,
Yeah.
eventually that may happen.
Yeah.
That may happen because, Michael's doing better right now. So,
That and people want to
let's see what
see,
happens.
like, it's hard to gauge where people that live in different countries are at with each other.
Yeah.
So, like, all this King of the Table, East versus West, like, it answers those questions for us,
Right.
which is cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it does. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
What have you learned in creating these events for future events, to what you never want to recreate or what you want to expand upon? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. We are going to start doing some tournaments. So it was never just about doing just these like super match, features called King of the Table, but it would also include doing real tournaments. And the tournaments will be more strictly judged. So it won't have a running foul system. It won't have, set grip with, like a WAL style. It'll be more WAF style. It's so people kind of earn their way up into, doing a King of the Table. So there will be a way into King of the Table by winning, say our national level competition, or whatever type of competition. We're going to have an international one later this year. So Dubai Muscle Show.
Would you be implementing like your own like ranking system in that?
That's a possibility. It depends on how big, this gets.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to judge, right
Yeah.
now. And the thing is we also, of course, we want to do well with this, but we also don't want to kill off other organizations from,
Right.
doing arm
Yeah.
wrestling. There's enough room for all of us.
Absolutely.
And
No doubt.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what else you got for me?
I
You're thinking.
I'm like,
feel bad asking questions. I'm like, man, we're keeping them out passes.
keeping them up passes. Exactly. Well,
No.
actually, I do have a question for you. What I know Ryan asked about your recovery services between bodybuilding, powerlifting, and arm wrestling that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
What do you find most beneficial for yourself? Most effective?
If interesting, yeah, that's interesting. So a few different things.
Okay.
I would say one of the most effective things, at least if from an arm wrestling perspective, for elbows, most people, have elbow issues. Definitely ice. I like to do ice baths.
Okay.
I also like to, I've used, I don't remember what it's called, but it's, I think I told you about it, Dan, where it's like an individual, like ice, not ice, but it's cold, just like you would go into one of those big cold tanks.
Yes. Okay. Local cryotherapy.
Yes, like local cryo. I'm way too early in the morning for me. So that's kind of good too. But I do like that. I do like peptides. I feel like BPC 157 really is good healing peptide, TV 500. And yeah, those are very good for arm wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the things you're involved in and have been involved in, do you have like a favorite?
Oh God, a
Like,
favorite?
all the things you've been doing.
Really? Well, also, I think what a lot of people don't, they usually think of just the immediate pain that you get from arm wrestling. So you have a big arm wrestling session, and the next day or the day after, all of a sudden you have all this pain. There's also a lot of, besides icing down and stuff like that, you do have to come into the gym anyway and work your elbow, work your arm, your brachialis, whatever is hurting. And you got to do light weights and get blood flow into the area.
Yeah.
Blood flow is a key to everything because, arm wrestling is very much a tendon sport.
Mm-hmm.
So, and tendons don't get a lot of blood. So giving it more blood allows to help in the reduction of inflammation, help build new tissue, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that I think is super effective. Yeah.
For sure.
In terms of rehabbing. Yeah. And keeping it healthy, just keeping it healthy in general. Even if you're not rehabbing like an injury, just doing that every time you arm wrestle, you get back into the gym right away and work that area. I'm talking about very light weights, high reps, just blood flow. That's really what it is. So.
Yeah, I feel when I have like that elbow pain, any blood flow kind of workout, I feel like it immediately alleviates it.
Yeah, so for sure. People, especially bodybuilders. So we have a lot of bodybuilders that will come over and arm wrestle, and we're very careful with them. We don't let them, get into terrible positions and stuff like that. But even if they don't do a lot, because they haven't worked those muscles before, those tendons, it's very painful for them.
Right.
Yeah. So I always go through like a rehab protocol for them so that they hopefully won't really experience too much pain.
Right.
So.
It's important to incorporate that. Definitely is important to incorporate that.
Do you poke a little fun at them when they get that elbow pain?
A little bit, yeah. But I do warn them about it.
Yeah.
So
you have to,
just because you do, because every now and then you'll get somebody that like really gets into the arm wrestling thing that first practice and they go nuts.
Yeah, they go hard, yeah.
And then they're in trouble for weeks. They can't do anything for weeks.
They're like,
can't do anything. I'm so much
newbie pain is real.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, do I need to go to the doctor and all? Like, no, you don't. Nothing is torn in there.
Yeah.
In terms of but it's beat up for sure.
It's like having a toothache in your elbow, or your whatever. It's like that
Yep.
weird pain.
Definitely, it's
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get it when you took a lot of time off the sport and came back and started arm wrestling? Did you
I
get
did.
any of that?
Yeah, I did. Now I've only been kind of on and off lately because I tried to start back a couple years ago because I had an unfortunate tear of my rotator cuff from an ATV accident. I had to get my infraspinatus muscle reattached.
Geez.
Then I rehabbed it. I really wanted to get back into weight training because one thing I really wanted to do before I got too old was I wanted to bench press 5 plates one more time before I get too old.
Yeah.
And this is kind of hindering all that. So I retoured again last year at the end of last year because I was pushing too much. And so I learned my lesson, rehabbing it again. And
are you still going to try to hit that goal?
Maybe. It's not as important to me. I really do want to get back into the arm wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, this time around, I've been arm wrestling for a little bit, and my elbows are in good shape.
That's good.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I the last couple practices, I had no pain after practice.
Nice.
Which is really surprising. Yeah. I don't know
so
why, honestly.
It's a good thing when you don't have pain, right?
Yeah.
But it does make one wonder, did I go hard enough?
Right. Yeah. No, it kind of is, The thing is my muscles aren't strong, that strong just yet because I'm getting off of, I'm still on rehab, but I'm able to push now a little bit with my right side, doing back workout and chest and stuff. So, and some arm stuff. So we'll see.
I know wellness is a very big, big topic of discussion in Dubai. There's a lot of wellness options and features out there. Is there like a hyperbaric oxygen chamber available to you there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Have you used it?
I have used it actually, and it was a great experience. Yeah, but you do have to use it quite a bit.
You do. You see the benefit. A minimum between 6 to 10 sessions. That's where the maximum benefit lies. So yeah, I definitely would implore you for that tear.
It's great.
It would help. It would help.
Yeah, very good.
Heal faster and stronger.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Mm-hmm.
Was there a point when Larry first started arm wrestling that like you were smoking him?
No, there was never a point.
Was he just too strong?
He was too strong because I didn't actually start back until after he got into arm wrestling.
Right.
So that's when I started to mess around. So he was
he already had the basics down enough to do some damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't trained for 23 years. I didn't lift a weight.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it sucked. I got fat and man.
Hey, you don't have to tell me. Look at me.
You're really fat. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Adam, when I first met you, I was really fat when I first met you. When you first came over, I was still around 220, 215. I think.
Yeah. You were pretty big then. Yeah, for sure. I'd destroy you now, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is a future super match we got in the workings.
No, I've been watching you, Danny. You're not doing very well lately.
No, not
You've
at all.
been doing amazing. Yeah, you've been doing amazing. Seriously, it's been really good.
He's leveled up big time.
Big time.
I love this sport. I love everything it's given me, and I just pour my heart and soul into it because when you're that passionate about something, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
It's good to have a group of guys to help you out along the way, though. I still practice out of my garage. I actually now have a couple of platforms in my backyard that I built, so I utilize that as a training grounds.
That's great. Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up, or anything you want to like plug out there?
Well, we're working on King of the Table 5 right now.
Yeah.
And that should be the end of September.
Right.
So, and I mean, we always plan like a couple out in advance. So King of the Table 5 is being planned, King of the Table 6 is being planned. So we're working on that all right now. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Is there any pieces of that you can share with us as of now, or no? Is that completely off the table?
No.
That's kind of
it's
super
only
hush
when,
hush. Yeah.
yeah, we have a way of marketing,
I get it.
Of releasing
I get
information.
it.
Yeah, so.
I get it. Hey, I figured I'd ask. Because I'm
course,
itching to know.
It doesn't hurt to ask. I might slip up and
Yeah. Right.
eke out something. Yeah.
Just do it in our private messages.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. So you can snapshot,
Yeah.
Post,
Yeah,
right.
you know, Facebook. I don't know if you know this, but if you're in like conversation with somebody, you could swipe down and you could send a message that disappears.
I've seen that. Yeah, and Instagram
That's for the dudes that cheat on their wives and shit.
Hey, I want arm wrestling. People. I want arm wrestling information that no one else will have access to. That's what I want to take advantage of with that.
Okay, right.
And then someone's gonna be like, "Prove it," and you won't be able to because it disappeared.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to hold you too long because
No.
we haven't gotten any sleep, and it's 12:30.
I'll try to sleep maybe another hour or so, and then Larry's back from vacation.
Uh-oh.
So he starts training again today. He had 3 weeks off.
Wow.
So
it's a nice vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very nice. Yeah, him and his girlfriend went away. Serbia,
nice.
Greece, Spain.
Dude,
yeah.
For a young kid, man, like he must just be loving life, dude. That's great.
Yeah.
It's so good for him to experience that at a young age.
Absolutely. And he's a great guy. He's really a very good person to work with. And we have a very good relationship.
Well, if you guys
he truly is.
If you guys find yourselves in Italy next month at any point, let me know because I'm going to be in Italy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'll be across the pond. Yeah, you never know with you guys. So
yeah, it could happen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can go over there and crush Dan on the table.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Not bad. Not bad for 51.
No, it's not too shabby for an old man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, dude, thank you so much for giving us your time, man.
We appreciate having you on, man.
Very cool.
We look forward to all the future events you and Larry have been pulling off or going to be pulling off. Want to personally thank you for everything you've done for the sport. The encouragement you've given me has still stayed with me to date. So thank you for everything you do for us, for the sport, and for 98% representing us, wearing our shirts.
You're always supporting us and saying nice things. And I appreciate it.
It was a no-brainer. Ryan asked me, who do I want to interview? You're the first name that came up. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. Awesome,
man.
I'm really happy to do it. So
be sure to like, share, and subscribe, everybody.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Catch you later.
Have a good one.
Take care, man.
All right, bye.